Development Symposium 2024. From Recovery to Growth, Unlocking Palau's Prosperity.
Good morning, everyone. Ngit tutaw ang angkla ka Rison Nakamura, Finance Specialist tra Ministry of Finance, tora debts malubeng bersela wealth, mga investments. Waya Stephen Maclum, direct motor mga adult tuam legal. So it's a pleasure to be here today to share an exciting development that marks a significant milestone for Palau's financial sector, the introduction of Palau Savings Bonds. Over the next few minutes, I'll provide an overview of the Palau Savings Bonds, highlight our progress, discuss how the bonds would work in a digital platform that we have managed to obtain, and outline the next steps to take. Let's begin with what is a savings bond and why this initiative matters for Palau. Under the Debt Management Act, or Chapter 5 of Title 40 of the Palau National Code, a bond is defined as a fixed income instrument that represents a loan made by an investor to a borrower. In this case, that is the Republic. Typical savings bonds are government issued and are usually simple, meaning it can be easily bought, safe as it is backed by the government, and affordable, meaning they do not have high minimum balances. In the US, you can buy a savings bonds for as low as $25, and in Japan, retail bonds could go as low as 100 yen. They are also usually non-transferable and thus non-tradable unless the bond investor dies, to which it is transferable to the legal heir or inheritor. For Palau, savings bonds was first proposed by Dr. Naoyuki Yoshino, an economic advisor to Palau, based on his observations with the financial sector in Palau. He proposed that the funds from savings bonds can be used to avail funding to lend for housing, SME, and infrastructure investments, especially on Babandao, thereby creating a spillover effect throughout the economy. Moving to the aims and purposes of Palau Savings Bonds, first, as Dr. Yoshino mentioned, or had actually proposed, Palau Savings Bonds aim to increase capital retention levels in Palau. Right now, 90% of our deposits are sent overseas for relatively higher returns at much lower risk. While there are reasons for this, access to capital, including to business, and again, thereby limiting that spillover effects throughout our economy, becomes an issue for our people that needs to be addressed. Secondly, Palau Savings Bonds aim to address low savings return rates. Right now, general demand savings accounts have very low interest rates, and then you would have time certificate of deposits that have higher interest rates but also higher minimum balances. With Palau Savings Bonds, we hope to have an option that, one, yields good returns, but is also affordable. Finally, savings bonds will help diversify our national debt and reduce debt servicing costs. At present, Palau's debt is entirely external by creditor residency, and about 60% carries variable interest rate, making us vulnerable to rising interest rates. Now let's take a quick look at the timeline to understand where we are in this journey. So again, Palau Savings Bonds was first introduced by Dr. Yoshino in 2022 and 2023. In February 2024, a delegation from Japan, including representatives from the Cabinet Secretariat, visited Palau to discuss the possible introduction of savings bonds with government officials and stakeholders. As you can see in the first picture, to your left, they met with President Whips. This laid the groundwork for more in-depth planning. In the following month, March of 2024, Minister Udui led a delegation to Japan to learn more about the savings bonds. During our study tour, we met with various Japan government officials, Nikko Securities, and other stakeholders, where Minister Udui also spoke with the Japanese media about our efforts. That's the second picture from your left at the bottom of the slide. In June, Soramitsu secured a subsidy from Japan's Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry to partially fund the development of the bond platform, Palau Invest. It's called Palau Invest, but we can name it with a different name later on. Following that, in September, we proposed bond regulations for public review as required in the Debt Management Act. We were also able to work with PIFTAC to begin institutionalizing the Debt and Investment Office within the Ministry of Finance to help with the probable increased client engagement with bond investors. We were also able to conduct a soft demonstration of Palau Invest, the platform for our savings bonds, as shown in the two pictures in the slide, bottom of the slide from your right. Lastly, in October, we were able to forward the regulations, the bond regulations and the executive order to establish that office for President's consideration. So how will these bond and how will the platform actually work? The Ministry of Finance will operate two key systems to support Palau Invest. The first one is the asset management system. This system will oversee the tokenized US dollars used for bond transactions, manage bond issuances, so creating bond issuances, and ensure compliance with the approved prospectus of the bond issuances, approval from OEK. Secondly, the user management system. This system will handle investor onboarding and transaction requests, including identity verification and the account top-ups and cash out. At this time, the transfer of funds will happen manually, but we are actively exploring options to make that more convenient. For investors, the process is very straightforward. Once you've verified your identity, you can begin topping up your account after transferring money to the Republic, and then make bond transactions. In other words, buy the bonds. Ideally, you will hold the bonds until maturity, but emergencies happen, so we will propose rules for early redemption, but penalties will generally apply. To wrap up, let's reflect on our accomplishments and what lies ahead. As to what we have accomplished so far to date, we've made tremendous progress proposing regulations to cover these savings bond issuances, as well as future bond issuances by the Republic. Drafting an executive order for the Debt and Investment Office, and conducting the soft demonstration of the digital platform Palau Invest. Moving forward, our focus is on finalizing the prospectus, securing approval from OEK, and then preparing for the official launch on the platform. For acknowledgements, it is important that we also acknowledge our partners who have helped us with this initiative. Our journey would not have been possible without the vision of Dr. Yoshino, the support of the Japanese government, including the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, which helped acquire the bond system from Soramitsu, and the Ministry of Finance, Japan. We are also thankful of IMF and PIFTAC for helping us institutionalizing a debt management office. And then lastly, we would like to thank Soramitsu for developing a platform that fits our plans and goals. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.